Shake it for me, girl. Shake it for me, girl. Shake it for me. Excuse me, girl. Shake it for me, girl. Shake
Hey,
it.
Caryn, every time we go live, I'm worried that we're not live.
I'm sorry, what?
Every time we go live, I'm worried we're not live because I don't see it in the group. Do you?
No, but I don't look either because I can't be that distracted. So
Well, you have to know if people are watching. If you're watching, just say hi because I don't see it in the group.
I know we have a few people watching because it's on right now.
Okay, good, because I can't see when you are in control, I don't see the numbers.
Okay, let's just talk for a second.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you in so long, first of all, and I've actually missed you. This has been a long time since we've been together.
You have missed me.
Can you make eye contact with me, please?
Yeah, I don't see us live. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see it I don't see it broadcasting. I'm looking in our group. I don't see it.
Live, everyone said, like, I'm getting comments. We're
Okay,
live.
that's so weird. I'm just saying. Oh, now I see it.
Maybe exciting.
I wanna pin it to the top of the group so people can jump in.
So
okay, now we can start. Let's go. All right, we're ready. Now we're live because I see it now.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
I mean, Caryn, here's the thing. I text you and you text me back with like one word now. Like that's kind of like that's kind of like your thing. Like for everyone watching, Caryn all of a sudden is like a one word responder on text.
Not true, Nick, because we actually talked on the phone last night while I was getting my hair.
I mean, for the first time, I think we can't be that talk show couple who only who acts like they have a great relationship, but then off screen we don't talk.
I can't see who the comments are, but someone said I could tell him something 384 and then he'll be like, "But are you sure?" Which I'm pretty sure that's probably Ann.
I can see who the comments are on Facebook. Yes, it's Ann. I can tell him something and it'll be like, "But are you sure?" Oh, one was saying that we're live because I was like, "Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?" And she's like, "Yes, Nick. Why don't you trust me? Why don't you trust me?"
What I want you to trust also is that StreamYard has never failed us. Like upgrading to StreamYard has been outstanding.
So since we haven't seen each other for a while, I'm sure everyone would love for us to just catch up right now. What's been going on?
I mean, not a lot. Like literally just work, and then I had a good Labor Day weekend. Didn't do a whole lot. Like my life's not that exciting.
You got your hair done yesterday because yesterday I called you and you said you were getting your hair done. And by the way, I just want to say it looks fabulous.
3.5 hours.
Well, time well spent.
How long does your hair take? And you're so tan, and you're buff.
3.5 minutes.
Push-ups on blocks. I did post on Facebook last night that I bought that damn ski machine that has been in my feed for Facebook. I bought it. So I haven't put it together yet. But I used to ski. I used to ice skate. I'm thinking this ski machine, like it's another form of exercise since I sold my Peloton. I haven't played tennis, I did have like a major allergic reaction last week. So that was really exciting. But
you sold your Peloton? Why?
Well, it's like because I had back surgery and it makes my legs numb and no big deal.
So what are you doing are you exercising at all?
Yeah, I have 32 stairs in my house, first of all.
Yeah. I walk up and down the stairs a lot.
Yeah. And then I bought this thing. I play tennis. I hadn't played.
Well, you mentioned push-ups on blocks. Yes, I have been very active with exercise lately. My mom commented on one of my posts on Facebook saying how that's how I used to look, not yet, but when I was in my 20s, I was obviously in much better shape, but I'm proud of myself in the sense of my wife believes in me. Don't get me wrong. She's like, listen, you're getting into your 40s, your metabolism's slowing down. It's okay, blah, 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 blah. But if there's one thing that this quarantine has helped me do, it's like my gym is in my garage and
right.
There's no excuses.
Well, I've actually lost weight during COVID like yourself. So that's been so amazing because you're like, where did it go? But so I appreciate
it. Went right to my ass.
It went.
Caryn, straight to my ass.
Okay. You know what's so funny about my name change?
Caryn, my diet is a carton of Kent's.
My God, my mom did not understand that the other night when we were on the phone because she used to smoke a carton of Kents.
Let's go back to how I called Caryn. Actually, we talked twice this week. So on Saturday night, I talked to Caryn, and she was with her mother. Can we talk about Can we talk about the pet name that your dad had for you growing up?
No, she'll be so sad. But I'll tell people another
It's
time.
funny.
No, not when your mother's on. I can't disrespect her.
Oh,
Like,
my mom doesn't care. She's got a sense of humor.
No. So I'll tell Lady Roberta, I'm the youngest of 5 girls, and I have a very strong mother, and my dad just a mess. So we did talk Saturday night, and you know what's funny is I had a disaster at the restaurant, which I think I mentioned to you, and I let them know my credit card receipt because I used to work in restaurants.
Yeah.
They actually called yesterday to follow up, which I will give a lot of credit to a business because I don't post a public review because I'm a small business owner, so I wouldn't want to do that to anybody.
Right.
They called me yesterday to find out what happened, which I really, really appreciate. So I'm going to call them back. That's pretty cool, right? Like
that is very cool. And by the way, I also want to say, speaking of which,
a witch, like WITCH or WHICH?
Speaking of which, not speaking of witches. My wife and I got new floors in our home. I don't know if you saw the picture on Facebook.
I commented.
And so let me tell you the situation, because you were talking about reviews, right? And because we're in a customer service driven industry, you know, like whether you're an agent and you're dealing with the consumer, or whether you're in a leadership position like you and I, the agent is your consumer, right? The agent is our client. No matter what, like you have to do what's best for the client. So let me tell you what happened, because we were very irritated by this. So like on Friday, the guys came to do the floor, right? It was great. It wasn't their fault, by the way. It wasn't the workers' fault. So this guy Alex came, and his wife Jessica, and their team, and they installed the floors together for this company, and they come in, and then like an hour later, the wife goes, while she's digging up our floors or scraping up the old floors, do you have cats? I'm like, yeah, I have cats. She's like, oh my goodness, I'm so allergic. I'm like, okay, well, let me open up windows. Hope that'll help. This was supposed to be a one-day job, right? One-day job. So turns out she is allergic to cats, and they couldn't finish that day because
Alex, what a bummer.
Yeah, Alex, the husband, had to take his wife to the hospital. Labor Day weekend, you know, we were supposed to go up to the lake. Anyway, I call the guy who runs the company, and I'm like, dude, I go, how is one of the questions not, do you have any cats or dogs? And then I say, I have a cat. And then you make sure that you don't send an employee who's allergic to cats. Your job is to do floors inside of people's homes. So anyway, he's giving me this whole pushback. And I'm like, you got to give me some discount now, because now I might have to cancel my weekend plans, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, well, I can give you $50 off. I go, this is an $8,000 job. Long story short, it got done. But I just feel like that guy screwed up. You're going to send someone to my house who's allergic to cats?
Well, okay, no.
My floors?
Second. No, that's not really the problem. The problem is that he didn't see it as an opportunity to be better and change.
Right. And I said to him, I go, listen, dude, I go, I'm not trying to threaten you or anything, but I said, social media is a really powerful platform, and you have to do what's right. And he goes, well, the next time I can get somebody to your house is Monday. I go, Monday's Labor Day. He goes, how about Tuesday? I go, Tuesday's the first day of school, and we're teaching from home. I go, I need someone in my house tomorrow morning, Saturday, to finish this so I don't have to cancel my weekend plans.
100%.
And the worker in my house called him up, and he's like, Dave, I heard him. He goes, Dave, you're being extremely unprofessional. You told these people it would take one day. You need to get someone over here tomorrow.
You need to hire that guy.
Yeah. So anyway, someone did come over and finish it the next day, but you know, he was taking zero responsibility for it.
Well, I worked for a restaurateur named Cameron Mitchell, who owns Ocean Prime and Mitchell Steakhouses all around the country, Beverly Hills, New York. And he wrote a book called Yes is the Answer, What's the Question? And an example would be if you and I were having dinner together, and my dinner was later, I sent it back, we'd buy the whole check because it ruins your experience too, right? Like he just always came from abundance. And then I hired all the associates to make the decision. I wouldn't have to go ask a manager. So he was an amazing role model in leadership, and he knows how to treat the customer right. So
well, yeah. So like because of quarantine, my subdivision has been getting a food truck once a week to come to the playground. We have a playground in our sub.
Right.
So
Right.
once a week, the president of the HOA has been getting a food truck.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah,
That is
and
so
so it's fun. So we go outside by the playground in our sub, and the kids play, and we're outside social distancing, eating dinner together. And so the food truck comes, and we order our food. We were going to go back to our house this time, and we were going to stay outside. Anyway, we get back to our house, which isn't that far. It's like 5 houses down from the food truck. And they forgot to put one of the orders in the bag. So I walk back out. I'm like, hey, man, we forgot the vegetable stir fry. He's like, oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry. So he goes and gets it. And then he gives us like a whole bunch of free egg rolls. He's like, I threw in some free egg rolls because of.
First of all, it was a Chinese food truck.
Yeah, food. It was a Chinese food truck. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a Chinese fusion. So I think it was like.
Stop it, like Thai. I've not seen a Chinese food truck.
Oh, it was great.
Chinese food truck might be like the greatest food truck in the universe.
It was great. The point of the matter is, I only lived 5 houses down. It wasn't an inconvenience. But he was like, you know what? I'm so sorry. Here's like a bunch of free egg rolls. And I'm like, dude, that's how you do it.
Yeah, guys, okay, listen, I don't want to wait any longer because Lady Roberta, like we've been waiting for this. What are you chewing right now? Like literally,
I'm eating oatmeal.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad Lady Roberta is going to be on here today because.
Oh my God.
Are you really eating?
Can I introduce my mom, please?
Yeah, like, why don't I go clean my ears out too right now?
You know what, Caryn?
Hold on.
You know what, Caryn? I'm going to introduce my mom. Let's bring Roberta Baldwin on, and I'll introduce my mom. Everybody, welcome Roberta Baldwin to the show. Bring her on. There she is. Hello, there she is. Okay, everyone, this is my mom. Everyone's saying that we look. If I shaved my beard and grew hair, we would be identical. I think I'm starting to look a lot more like you as the years go on, Mom.
We have the same eyes. We have this pretty much, but
let me introduce my mother before everything.
Yeah.
This is my mom, Roberta Baldwin. She's the reason I'm in real estate. I joined her team. This is my 14th year in real estate. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, Nick came back from Los Angeles and was a server, as he had been, and a personal.
I was a professional auditioner in Los Angeles.
Right, and he was a personal trainer. That's what he learned in LA as a secondary job, and
that was kind of my.
Oh my gosh, stop interrupting her.
I'm just sitting. Fine.
This is what we do in our family. We interrupt.
I can't wait. This is like my family. I can't wait till we have a family.
I didn't finish introducing you, Mom.
Okay,
let me introduce you. Roberta Baldwin. I got into real estate. We were at Remax about 3 years into that. She met Sean Rawls. I'm just like paraphrasing. Sean Rawls recruited my mom to Keller Williams. She's one of 3 majority owners of KW Metro Group, which is like one of it's like the number 1 KW in Essex. You can explain it. Anyway,
yeah.
She's always been like between a $40 to $70 million producer, and she's been in the business 30 years and still going strong. Every week, my mom's like, I think I'm going to retire. And then she sells $1 million house and decides to keep going for a while.
Well, you know what's amazing? My mom came to KW when she was 74.
yeah.
I think when it's your lifestyle, it's your lifestyle. Like it just will never leave you.
Well, it started like when COVID entered the picture and there was silence for about 6 to 8 weeks. And I thought to myself, okay, this is what retirement is when you haven't planned for it, right? I mean, aside from going shopping or having a hobby, and I've never been that great at that stuff. So I looked around, and as soon as it picked up, I thought, you know what? This is meaningful work, and I work with meaningful people, and I need to keep doing it as long as it works. And it has worked very well the last several months, as it turns out, for the company and for me. So,
Lady Roberta, I have several questions for you.
Yeah.
The first one is, I watched the preview from your show, Bought and Sold, that you both did together.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing you were saying to him is what Ann and I, Nick's work wife, say to him too. Watch, why are you wearing that? What are you doing? I mean, all of it. And I was like, nothing has changed. So other than the word precocious, what was Nick like as a child? Like we all are just really.
By the way, I'm just going to sit here.
Yeah. I mean, we got it.
Okay, Nick was he was a person with a lot of empathy, and he was emotive. He easily was affected by things. He loved video. He loved theater. He made his own way as a child actor because of his interest in performing. So a lot of what you see today is based on all of those years of performing, you know, the acting, the singing. A lot of people don't know that. He doesn't really tell them, right? So that was his track.
I talk about it still.
Okay. So that was his track in life. I wasn't that interested in other subjects. So we nurtured him toward the stuff that he loved to do. And we thought, well, he'll find his way. And when he got back from LA in his mid-20s and went back to school and started to make a life here, I said, well, you know, do you want to join the, quote, family business, which seemed to be developing? And so we made our way. Family businesses are hard, right? And especially mother-son, father-son. There are a lot of different guideposts that you can miss, and then you have to go around and figure them out. But I kept on.
There was also a secondary reason too. Like my mom had been pushing me to do it for a while. I said no, and then I met my wife, and my wife was like, "Listen, you can't be I can't be with a guy who works at a bar till 3 a.m." So it was like my mom and then my wife, and then I was like, you know what, I should get my act together. So I joined my mom's real estate team.
Right, and so you know, of course, it's real estate is an extremely stressful field, right? Especially as you're getting yourself going. And we were on a top team when we were at RE/MAX. We were the number 2 team in New Jersey. Then, you know, anyway, we had a lot of pressure on us to perform and on ourselves. And then we made the entrepreneurial move to KW during the formative years that Nick was in the business. So all of these things were washing over us as we were trying to enlarge our business.
But Mom, talk about like how, you know, when you were looking for franchises, when you were looking for companies to switch to, and you came across KW because it was virtually non-existent in New Jersey.
Yeah.
My mom was like one of the first, if not the first person in our area to like start a team.
I
right?
was the person in our
Talk about
county.
how when you first started the Baldwin Dream Team, like what people were saying to you when they saw your signs.
Well, the first day I put the sign up, which was in 2004, I think, or 3, the top agent at another company that I used to work with came into my open house. Lovely person, really successful. Walked in, and I'm standing at the door, and she says, "The Baldwin Dream Team, what a joke. What's that? We have never been a team." And I went, well, it's time to try it. Now, I came out of the journalism, daily journalism field. I worked on a team. We put out a newspaper every day. And it was,
hi, buddy.
Hi.
They want to say hi to Grandma. Come here.
The frog man. Okay. So it was easy for me to bring people on. And so my first team members were actually clients of mine who turned out to be 2 of the top agents in this area, probably in the top 10 today. One of them is my business partner, Nancy Chu. And so I needed to have not just support, but I needed to strategize with other people. I needed to have it more as a public way of doing business. I had been working for years, like 8 years by myself, you know, no one helping, no one doing anything. Any other companies that say they're going to provide this or that, get in line, right? So I wanted to have my own business. And I thought, how do you grow a business except to bring people on? So my first boss said there was no room for anybody. That's when I went to RE/MAX and started paying the rent for my growing team. And so it was a natural for me, but it was not natural for anybody in North Jersey. Absolutely not.
And so then what did you look to other than your own like confidence and intuition? Like, I can do this. Because entertainment journalism, like Nick, you know, shared a little bit with me about your past. Like what caused you to switch into real estate? I'm just curious because I find so many, my most successful agents, when they make a decision, are women, but who have children that are like, you know what, it's my turn now. I'm going to go do this.
Well, I was always a working person, even when I had kids, for better or worse. I made my career in daily journalism, newspapers, both as a freelancer in New York for 10 years, and also at the end of the day, I was a television writer, editor. I covered celebrities. I had a natural ability to talk to people, obviously, and I wasn't scared of famous people. And then I went back to newspapers, and I became a managing editor of features and entertainment for a New Jersey major newspaper. And so the writing was on the wall in the early 90s for the changes in newspapers. As you know, many papers are going under. They're being bought by hedge funds now. The writing was on the wall way back then. And I thought to myself, I leapt ahead mentally. I thought, where am I going to be if I want to prolong my career and there's no place to do what I do? And so I started looking around, and I was always interested in houses and neighborhoods and communities. I'm a fact finder. I like helping people. Marketing, obviously, is easy for me. And so, although no one else had the background I had, I think one of the reasons that I did well in a relatively short amount of time was that I had developed a persona. You can see I'm not a wallflower. I'm a gung-ho, get up in the morning, what's the story, get the information you need, make connections. All of that stuff is really important in the business we're in.
Well, we talk about mornings here a lot, and I guess that would make sense. Like, it would mimic a newsroom, like what's new, what's going on, what's active, and so it's very translatable. Okay, I need to go back to Nick.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that Nick did as a kid that were so cute or so annoying, or a combination of both? Like, I'm here to really I'm here to get the scoop.
Okay, so Nick started to perform, sing, and wasn't so good at dancing, by the way, just was not a good dancer, but started acting. Actually, one of his earliest performances was with Christina Ricci in a school play. They were in the same grade and the same school, and I actually introduced her to a manager because she was so fabulous. Who
are responsible for Christina Ricci becoming famous?
Well, let's just say I called her parents and I suggested.
So Christina Ricci and I were in a play, The 12 Days of Christmas. I think it was third grade.
Yes.
And we were actually friends in third grade. And when my mom saw her, I had a manager at that time and I was auditioning for commercials. And my mom thought that she was fantastic. And she went up to her mother and said, I think your daughter needs to speak to my son's manager. And the rest is history.
6 weeks later, she was cast in a movie.
Are you getting royalties?
No. And then she made mermaids. She mermaids. I think she got mermaids within a year. It's like,
what a great movie that was.
So Nick liked to make movies. He had a pixelated video camera that we bought for him, and he had a whole series of movies that he made with his friends about a character, a little puppet. And we went to Princeton one day so the puppet could experience life as
it was like a ventriloquist dummy. I had a camcorder.
What was his name?
He's still in our basement.
What's his name?
What's his name, Nick?
I'm not ashamed. His name was Woody.
Woody. Okay, he was Wood.
And he was Wood, and it was a ventriloquist dummy, and I made movies about a ventriloquist dummy that came to life and went on adventures.
And then as a teenager, he made real short movies and won a state award, and continued acting and did some stuff in New York. And so there was always that was it. That was what he wanted to do. He started musicals at school.
And now here I am.
And here he is.
With Caryn.
Now he's with sad old me doing a show on a Facebook group. So,
yeah. So anyway, but I said to him through the years, your performance background and your ease with people and all of that will go far. And he kept saying, no, it won't. No, it won't. So sometimes we don't realize our own strengths until later.
Yeah.
And certainly, in the day that we live in now, which is careers develop, they disappear. Life is so complicated. The 20s are difficult. And I think what real estate did was to create another option in life, which it was almost like a hurdle.
Well, I think that real estate, because people want to hear about you too, Mom. So yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on you, but I think real estate.
I want to hear about you too.
All right, but I think that real estate now has evolved into, you almost have, you have to be personable, you have to be charismatic on video, you have to know how to talk to people, and I think that it has helped in that sense, right? I think that the training in acting and singing and performing definitely like I'm not shy to be on camera and to talk to people and that's I think another reason why I'm so transparent. Like as an actor, you have to dig down and think about things that make you feel certain ways. And so that's why I'm so open about my life and stuff. But anyway, I also learned that from a family that was very in touch with their emotions at the same time. So that helps too.
Well, she's very honest and very straightforward.
We come from an artistic family, and we have writers, actors, singers, poets, novelists in our family. I mean, it's quite a group. And not to say that we don't have lawyers too and others, but I think that it was easier for us to come into contact with what we really felt. Now, sometimes that's hard because there's too much emotion in the air. And so I think for all of us, Nick, me as a family, and others, especially in a business like real estate, we needed to acquire a backbone, right? And everything was not explained away by how people feel. And a lot of times in real estate, people don't feel at all, right? And I think that in today's generation, I was just remarking yesterday about all of the buyers that have come to me over the last several months and how different they are as a generation from buyers of the previous, let's say, three generations. If you look at it.
Tell me how. I'm fascinated by this too, because being in multiple generations in the business, it is interesting to see the progression. I mean, real estate, obviously technology's changed, but it's become much more of a business. So I'm super grateful that you were you led the way, because many women didn't do that. But what have you seen? What is the differences you've seen this generation?
Well, around 3 years ago, my team was between 5 and 9 people between 2003 or 4 and the end of 2015, the beginning of 2016. And that's when Nick went off on his own to start his own team. And the core group of the other people also decided they were going to try teams, which they all did. And I also had brought on 3 other people that year, and they were all in varying stages of trying to make transitions fairly unsuccessfully, just because it's really hard. And it was the low point of the market and before the kick up. And so I thought to myself, I'm just going to step back and I'm going to see where I go from here. And maybe I should connect more with buyers now and stop being like a boss where I'm giving out leads and give back more. So in 2017, I got I would call a concierge service that was one part of my business, and they gave me leads. And I started to notice how different the leads were. Let's say of the 35 people I got, 3 of them bought houses. Most of them were on a 2 to 5 year plan for buying a house. And that included looking at every town and city in the tri-state area and working through a kind of a concierge, an advisor who would then hook those people up with specific towns. And so the more they learned, the less they could basically understand, and the less likely they were to buy a house, in my opinion. And so I think people are more analytical today. They're more fearful. Their parents often went through, 9/11, the crash of 2008. They said they were not willing to experience anything like that. Of course, now we're in COVID and they're in something like that, not of their own making, perhaps, but they were trying to steel themselves from the eventuality of moving while picking the brains and working with agents like myself who are giving their valuable time. And so today, I think we have a group of millennials and young Gen Xers up to maybe age 38 or 40 who are more analytical, more judgmental of the advice that you're giving them based on the advice that they've already acquired and they've found online. And they are watching you every minute and then comparing you to their friend's agent and other people. And so I find, maybe others don't agree, while there are those who just come on because they've heard about you, and you can look and see my 25-year, oodles of experience and awards. And, so what does it mean now that my team does 60 million in business? Nothing. It means nothing to a lot of people. What does it mean that I'm a co-owner?
You know what it means, Mom? It means that you make too much money and you're too busy and only care about, getting. That's what it means to those people.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and think
but that's what it means to them. Like, we're in a day and age now where it's like, oh, she makes way too much money. Like, that's all part of the money.
Also, the perspective has changed so gratefully that like a 20 million, like, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, 20 million. And these shows have not helped. You look at like the real estate shows, where like I sell $1 billion a year. Like the context is so different.
But here's the interesting thing. I still have contact with all of my clients. Now, during COVID, I do have a great assistant, and there was a period in there when she showed the houses, but it was fine. But it's not like I have a team of, our team does its own thing, right? So in other words, I'm not interjecting onto someone else. They're not coming back to me. We all have our clients, and every single client that I work with gets me. But it's not, it appears that it's not enough per se. So not complaining, just saying that the business has changed so much, and there's so many avenues for getting information, getting listings. Zillow is still massively intrusive in any organization and in any private relationships that an agent has. And you're every day saying, no, that Zillow, the $8,000, taxes are really 15 or 18,000. I don't know where they got them. And then they say, well, how can Zillow be wrong? So, you're dealing every day with all kinds of, not to mention technology. So, and then of course, people do feel that if they're texting you, no matter what you're doing in the day, you need to get back them immediately. So it's just changed a lot. And I think for older agents, we could do a whole other section.
But Mom, you also have, what I was telling Caryn before is like your business. Let me back up. If there's the one thing I think that you taught me about real estate is that, no matter what, you have to do whatever it takes. Like, it's a customer service business. And when I see people online, like in lab coat agents saying, that's not my job. That's not my job. That's not my job.
I know.
And I learned this from my mother. We have gotten to homes an hour before final walkthrough.
Right.
And it's a mess.
And you clean out the basement.
You get your trash bags and your rubber gloves and you clean up.
You do whatever it takes. You get all the old paint out if that's what it takes. I do. I think
yesterday. So we do our own.
I just want to say to Mom, that's something like the one thing my mom taught me, like there's nothing that's not your job. So just go do it.
So yesterday we do our own staging. Okay. I'm the staging guru, the creative director of staging. Now, of course, our particular photography studio won't let you in the house now. It has to be all ready, and they go through themselves. They don't want you breathing down their back and making it more difficult. Everyone's got masks on. So the last 2 days have been exceptionally hot. And we did a massive staging of a 4-bedroom house. I did it with a couple other people, putting together furniture. We went the whole hog on this. I want to prove that this house is going to sell for like, I don't know, 50, 100,000 over asking. And I wasn't quite satisfied after the 4-hour staging. So we went back yesterday for an hour, and we killed ourselves in the heat with the masks on. And I brought, several other things. And then we had to go through every single room and make sure there wasn't one pillow that was out of alignment, that every rug was absolutely perfect. I took a deep breath, and the photos came back last night, and they're beautiful and they're wonderful. And I don't know what I'm saying here, except that that's my job.
Well, you make sure you do the job and you do it all the way through. I mean, that's really like.
I got up this morning and I could hardly move.
My sister's an agent too, and she, this couple, it's an elderly couple, was moving from their longtime home. They have no family, no children, they have nobody. So who packed them? My sister.
Yeah, we had one of those recently. We care about our clients, buyers or sellers. We will do anything to help them. We hope that there's a reciprocity there, although we understand that it's not always going to be in the game. But I think if I taught Nick one thing, and it was a hard lesson, to go out on a weekend when you had crying babies, to take those bins of junk out of their basement. Someone calls and says they left their old fans, and their kids' toys, stuffed animals in the attic.
But then again, Mom, you have to do it because you're crying babies. So it's like one of those things, right? But Mom, I want to talk about
I can tell you what's changed is loyalty has changed to people in business. And that is a big thing that's changed. So I think real estate agents have to work 4 or 5 times harder to keep the loyalty of their clients, because the information technology and stuff can infiltrate so quickly. So Zillow, what I used to tell my buyers when I sold real estate, I go, listen, Zillow, it's kind of like my driver's license. Like, I have a weight on there. It might be true, but it's probably not. It's about the same as what my weight says on my license. And then they get it.
Well, speaking of that, Mom, speaking of what Caryn said, because my mom's business has always been a majority, repeat referral. And Mom, I remember like you've been talking about how it has been much harder to keep the attention and stay in touch with your past clients because of all the noise. So can you just talk a little bit about like how you've been so successful with past clients and referrals, and how that has drastically changed because of things like Zillow and other distractions?
Well, I don't know. Others might agree or disagree who are listening and will listen. But, when you've been in the business a long time, you have literally generations of people who have worked with you. And they go on to experience life and to live next door to another agent, right? Or in many cases, they get their own license because they want to be the next Roberta.
Like your team, like how your team started.
Yeah, I can't hire everybody, so they're going to drift off and they're going to have their own businesses. It's funny, I think to myself, okay, they're calling me, I'm going to have a meeting, and then they're going to join my team or not. And then ultimately, they'll have their own business, and that whole fluid referral system will disappear. So you have to create new ones. But I think that, and when you're in the business a long time, and you have literally hundreds, if not thousands of people on your mailing list, it's really impossible to be everything to everybody, even if you give them, like I did 50 baskets last holiday season, okay? I put them together myself. They were personal. I had notes. 50 out of what? 1,500? I picked the top 50 people that I love, that love me, who care. They're nice people in the community. I value them. Did I miss some? Yes. But I feel like if you have your core always, and you think about them and care about them, the ones on the periphery you'll reach out to here and there. And of course, we have technological systems for doing that. It's not the same as hearing from Roberta, but there's only so many hours in the day. And of course, you have new business. And as soon as I get off this call, I have 3 new listings to put up. With the help of my team, I have 2 or 3 clients, new clients for the weekend. So, I take a deep breath every morning. I think about different people and how they're doing. I reach out. Sometimes it's a fortuitous reach out where they say, oh my God, I just can't believe you called me today. We decided to redo our kitchen because we're going to try again to list our house in the spring. And you think, oh my God, that was some karma there, right? And then there are just others who get your postcard every 8 times a year with a little note from you. And then you look on the hot sheet every day and they're listing with someone else. And I have gotten to the point where I am way more fluid in my sense of myself. In other words, I don't need every bit of return business or new business. I need to understand how that arc went. And I need to move forward, even if someone gives me a personal referral and they don't choose me. In the past, I would have said, well, what happened? What did I do wrong? Maybe nothing. Maybe they had other reasons for going a different direction. So I'm trying to become more zen in my own business. And I can do that because I do have a flow out that has not stopped yet. Although there are days and weeks when I think to myself, okay, it's over.
Right.
Nothing significant is
I have noticed, Mom, you have been a lot more relaxed lately.
Well, I think it's part of understanding the complexities of the world, and you can only take on so much worry and concern about your business because you're worried about your family, you're worried about getting sick, you're worried about the state of the world, no matter what you think about it. And so I just think that there has to be a place for business, which is a Keller Williams idea, right, that we sometimes forget. I didn't join Keller Williams per se because of the, of the work family, nexus.
Family and business.
I did for the following reasons. The overall culture, because I didn't find that elsewhere. I was with Prudential way back in the day. That was a meaningless brand in terms of what it brought to me. I was with RE/MAX, which made a lot of money for me at just the right time, but had no inherent, nothing in it.
Yeah. What? It didn't have culture. I used to call people from Prudential, and I would say, because I was with Prudential and RE/MAX, and I would say, let's go from Prudential to potential.
Well, but at Prudential, I discovered something, that they took 6%. Now, I wasn't born yesterday, and after 2 years there, I thought, I had a minor but growing business, and I thought, why 6%? 50-50 split back then, and 6%, right? And then I went to a boutique agency that made me what I am today in many ways, but it was not financially. At a certain point, I looked at it.
Right. Then he sold to a chain for 7 figures.
Yeah. So then I moved to RE/MAX, and the 6% persisted. And when I got really successful in the early to mid 2000s, and I paid them $50,000-$60,000 one year in 6% fees, I looked up and I said, "There's got to be a better way of doing real estate that returns to agents." That, coupled with the KW a culture of giving back, was really important to me, as was meeting the people who became my regional directors. In those days, Brian Fair and Sean Rawls.
And Sean's there Monday as a guest, I believe, too.
Okay, well,
he's next week.
The best writer that I've ever read on real estate and on feelings and doing the right thing just as a person, and also one of the most astute and nicest people that I met in real estate. And, you get up to those director levels and those state levels, and there was never any connection that I had with those people. So Ryan was a great person, he still is, to be involved in, and it all fell into place. So it took 2 years to make that change, because there was no Keller Williams in the tri-state to speak of. There was only one significant office that Sue Adler was. Of course, we all knew Sue Adler. But I wasn't ready. And then when I was ready, I realized that this would give me every single thing that I was looking for, including walking into an office every day feeling proud of my brand. And so when we started in 2009 and 10, the market couldn't have been lower and more miserable. And people in the outside were, in fact, looking for a pathway, many buyers and sellers, a different pathway. And so we intersected with that need. And it grew from there based on, I think, the Keller Williams culture and the sense of mission that we had back in those days. That was 10, 11 years ago. So
it's still alive. And I think we all have a responsibility to keep it going, especially right now. We have fires, we have hurricanes, we have, all these things too. And so many people need our help. And we're the only company that I really feel takes care of each other, no matter where you see a Keller Williams agent in an airport or whatever, you're automatically friends. Like, it is such fun.
And guess what? We're not elitist. So if you want to go to one of the newer elite groups or one of the standard elite companies, we have many, many agents who work on the luxury level, but we are open to all. And so when I look across the sea of faces at a mini workshop in my office, given that we're in New Jersey and we're a very diverse state, it is reflected in our office, where we work very hard to manifest that in everything we do. And so that's the other reason that I felt that it was a brand that was going to open up and be all embracing. And certainly what happens during earthquakes and terrible, environmental problems in our world, we're there for people. And so when it was funny, when I got my first downline payment for an office in Turkey some years ago, we were amused.
Yeah, my mom and I both had that turkey down.
Yeah, the growth share.
Well, one of the first people who came online in our office was a woman who was I mentored, and She's from Turkey, and she's a professor at NJIT and a real estate agent. And as soon as we opened, she called and said, I've been following you and I want to join you. And ultimately, she brought people on, and the first Turkish KW came to be some years later. And I just thought that this is who we are. We're very closely connected with all different kinds of people. So that has been one of the great things about my experience the last 10 years, which is as important to me as how much money I make, and whether or not I win this award or that award and all of that. And also, I will say that my last thing about teams, I started my team way before KW. KW has team guidelines, which were a little bit late for my team because it was trucking along. We were like a bulldozer. But, KW's team guidelines are fabulous and have really led to enormous success, in our office and all over the country. So I applaud that as well.
Yeah, it is. All right, Nick.
What?
Say whatever you want with your mother, because we're going to have to bring her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to say that, I think a lot of people need to hear, especially newer agents, they need to hear like how it's not about you, right? Like it's a lot of, and I see a lot of agents talking, and I hear a lot of them talking. And, if there's one thing that KW has taught me, and there's one thing that my mom has taught me, it's like, it's not about us, right? And that's why our company gives back. That's why our company shares so much. And when we had Jason Abrams on a couple weeks ago, he's like, listen, RE/MAX could do their own version of KW Cares, but they don't. Berkshire Hathaway could do, the same thing, but they don't do it, right? So like a lot of the reasons people join KW, listen, sure, it's you can make a lot more money, and the systems and models are great, but at the same time, you have to be completely selfless to join the company, in a sense, because the company is such a selfless company in that we do so much for other people, and we take care of our community. And I think that makes up the culture, and it's completely different than, look, I was at RE/MAX, and that was 10, 12 years ago, and being a team leader, talking to RE/MAX agents, nothing has changed. It's exactly the same as it was a decade ago.
It hasn't changed. Okay, Lady Roberta.
I want my mom to give me, I'm going to let her give you this anecdote because it's funny. Mom, you used to be an entertainment reporter, and we would go to Broadway shows like 3 times a week for free because you reviewed Broadway shows. You were a theater critic too. I want everyone to know this story about when you took me on, the first time you took me on an interview with a celebrity. And what did I do? I was like 6 or 9 months old. Dudley Moore. Remember what happened when you took me to meet Dudley Moore? If you don't remember Dudley Moore, he was a British actor. He's from the movie
Arthur. So funny.
Lots of great movies. You took me, how old was I, and what happened?
9 months old. So I didn't ascribe to taking my children with me to big interviews. But when I was living in Brooklyn, and that's what I did, there were certain moments when the daycare person, the nursery person didn't come, and he was really too young. So I would get my brother from Wall Street to run over during lunch, or, my husband would come home or what have you. And sometimes I would get these interviews at the last minute, and someone would call me from Paramount and say, do you want to talk to Dudley Moore in his hotel room at 3:00? And so I took him with me because I knew Dudley Moore had a 4-year-old. And I thought, well, if there's anybody who might be positive about this and not think this was a negative of a woman in the 80s dragging along her kid, which was, of course, a no-no back then, it would be Dudley Moore. So we get to the hotel room, and he just crawled around the floor of the plaza. Not
Dudley Moore, me. I crawled around.
Yeah. Right. And Dudley Moore was hilarious.
You never know. He was a drinker. He could have been crawling around.
Yeah, but it was, and on the coffee table were all of the sweets, that the hotel had sent up, the little cupcakes and the little sweet buns and what have you. And so he got up, he crawled himself up, and he got himself a donut. And then he smacked it.
A jelly donut.
What? A jelly donut. And he managed to flop over to Dudley Moore and to grind the donut in Dudley Moore's knee.
At 9 months old?
9 months. Yeah.
Nothing's changed. I'm still smashing donuts in people's.
Yeah. So I just thought that this was a kind of a moment. And I thought maybe there was a little bit of a connection that went from Dudley Moore's knee to his hand. And honestly, Dudley laughed and thought it was a riot. And so, you know, even celebrities, as we know from the magazines, even celebrities can be human beings. So Nick, from the earliest, I took him to all kinds of things. He met.
I remember. I mean, we met Malcolm Jamal Warner. We went to the set of Charles in Charge, and we hung out with Scott Baio.
Yeah,
I remember all the things.
We got the personal tour of Disneyland. Those were the heady days, and but you know, I did what I could for my children based on who I knew and what I was capable of doing. I wasn't a camping mom, and I wasn't a mom that made cupcakes for school.
Neither was mine.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think that I introduced my children to things that were meaningful in their lives, and that even though there was an enormous leap and obstacle that Nick had to face and go over to accept real estate as a career based on all of that stuff, he endured. He endured, and I endured, and his wife endured, and we finally got to the point where he saw himself in a role here that I think has become way more meaningful than he ever could have imagined.
We're gonna have Ann on.
Well, you should. I have
round up the family. What?
I do have to jump off soon, but I want to say you should be very proud of the job you did, because you did raise an amazing, empathetic, kind, loving son, and he's still a pain in my ass.
Yeah, and you know what? Giving back has always been extremely important to me. And so anything that I could have imparted along those lines, I feel very grateful for. And yeah, proud is great, but being grateful just to have another generation do that, I think is really very important. And I don't think all parents can say that, but I wake up every morning and I know that there's going to be someone that he helps. And that's really important to me. Plus, which I think the show is quite cute. I love it.
Well, thank you. We had a good crowd watching. Lots of people saying great things. saying how you're a young hipster, too young to retire. Dana Cadena, she's like, she didn't just get you into real estate, she gave birth to you.
Yes.
Catherine Rain says, oh my God, I want to hug you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rob Chubb said, Nick smashed a donut into my knee once. So, people were excited that you were on the show, and that was.
Oh, Nick was in a commercial with Ed Asner also.
Oh, that's.
I don't know. Ed Asner, we're kind of dating ourselves a little bit.
Okay, but
people don't know. Most people, but that's
okay. Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right,
and he said, he turned to him afterward and said, "You got it on the first take, Nick." And Nick was 8 years old. So okay. Anyway, enough of the past.
Right, we're gonna have you back.
Forward business. Go forward.
Yeah. Montclair, New Jersey, Miss Lady Roberta. Thank you. This helps a lot.
Do you have any referrals from my mom, Montclair, NJ Metro Group?
Anytime.
Group. Okay, I'm going to play a song just for you. We've never played country, but it is just for you.
Thanks.
Okay. Play it. What is it?
I'm playing it.
Hurry up.
Why it's not letting me?
You should have this queued up at an hour.
Country girl, shake it for me, girl.
Shake it for me, girl. Shake it for me.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, Mom. I'll talk to you later.
All righty.
Bye.